This man is not your typical MMA fighter. He is a very young, 40 years old, and is a practicing doctor. With a perfect professional MMA record, he's also the Philippine lightweight URCC champion. Here's Angelito Manguray!
Hello. I found this clip and thought it was a great share. A much older Filipino doctor who appears to be using a style that looks very similar to Lyoto Machida's, except it's not karate, it's supposedly panantukan, which is Filipino street boxing or dirty boxing. I don't know anything about the discipline really, but it supposedly has an emphasis on constant angle and level changes. As you can see, this old man doesn't actually look very fast at all, but his footwear looks very light, clean, and overall he looks very loose and in the moment. This instant here almost looks theatrical. He sees the intention, the lead low kick, and he parries it with the side of his foot. And notice the weird hand movements. His opponent reacts to it by shelling in guard, which appeared to be the doctor's intention. From here, we begin to see the palm strikes, a slap to the ear, which can be very annoying. It can be as subtle as damaging the eardrum, which an opponent often won't feel as they will be on adrenaline, but it may also affect equilibrium if you send the shock through the semicircular structures in the air. Following up with a guard-peeling palm strike, he only grazes his opponent with the open hand uppercut. Now, I believe a closed fist is typically a better option for the chin and areas around the face, especially if you've properly conditioned your fist, but palm strikes can be a less obvious, safer, and still effective tool when used on the nose or forehead. It's not bone on bone, but allows you to comfortably deal more force due to a massively reduced risk of injury. One of my friends would actually often get picked on in social nightlife environments. He doesn't really know why. People say he looks arrogant, they say they don't like his face, and often they just want to start an altercation with him for no reason. He came to me asking what to do, as his hands would often get injured from having to defend himself. The palm strike since has become his go-to tool, as like a boxing glove, you can safely hit easy to access portions of the face like the nose or forehead. Thus, if you use proper boxing technique to generate force for a palm strike, you would be surprised as to how much damage you could do. He's a shorter, stockier man, and he's told me learning how to properly use this technique that he sent people flying backwards. If you know how to use your weight and they aren't braced for the shock, it's a pretty expected outcome. And it's definitely a different feeling following through with a palm strike than it is a fist. The way I would describe it would be a palm strike feels like an abrupt push, whilst a bare fist is like you're trying to crack something, which I guess should be pretty intuitive. The front snap kick, and knowing it will create distance, the doctor further covers it by shifting stances, then following through with the momentum with his lead. Versus opponent standing in southpaw, the doctor peels his lead. Then he shifts stances to cover the distance, which takes advantage of the opening. He likes to mix his punches with slaps and palm strikes, here finishing with the palm uppercut. It gives him a unique timing overall, which can work to throw off the opponent. Both Nick and Nate Diaz use this as well, either to maximize their reach in place of a hook, or to taunt their opponent to get into their heads. It almost always lands simply because their opponents do not expect it. It's weird. It comes at a different reach and angle. So if they do guard for a punch, they often realize that it was not a punch. They might defend it the wrong way. Now, overall, there was a significant advantage possessed by the veteran Filipino, and his unusual way of movement appeared to be overloading his opponent's system. On the ground, here we see the final blow delivered to the temple, and the match just ends. In an environment that uses gloves, it makes sense to have an emphasis on boxing opposed to palm strikes, as it has been proven that a buttressed fist is a tool that evolved specifically for punching. I'll leave a link down below reinforcing this. If the risks are taken away via cushioning effect, why not use the more effective tool, but like every technique, still have their advantage in certain situations if you choose to learn them. The temple, forehead, nose, slapping the ear with maximum reach, the Stockton slap, taunting your opponent, getting into their head. There are instances where the palm strike can be an unorthodox element of surprise, to an extent where it can even flip the light switch. The legendary Baus Rutten, perhaps a quintessential example of this. Now, understanding this, maybe you'll find the power you're looking for was right in the palm of your hands. If you'd like more from me, please subscribe. That's definitely great for the channel. Thank you if you did. Smash the like button if you enjoyed. It's good karma. And until next time, peace.